Hi guys, rise and shine. We grind, we are all fine, and the sun shines for yours and mine. My name is Tyrone, and welcome back to my show. Today, I want to touch up on a very important topic, and I want to say excuse me for my absence when it came to my podcast. Um, I have been going through a lot of trials and tribulations myself, and I feel like I needed to kind of remove myself and isolate myself for a little while until I can get back to where I needed to be. And I definitely want to apologize for for the collective that does watch my videos, because I know how important the consistency with keeping up these videos are, and how important it is because people watch these videos. Um, Today's topics I would like to touch up on would be change and stagnation. Um, I want to touch up on these topics because of the fact of change and stagnation being a part of our lives. We learn to change from certain situations. We learn to either remain the same, or we learn to transition. Change leads to transition, it leads to transformation, as it leads to renewal. When we are focusing on change, we are focusing on a better aspect of ourselves um, that can be beneficial to not only ourselves but our environment around. Sometimes change can be a good thing, and change can be a bad thing. I feel that when it comes to stagnation is it can be something. No, stagnation. When it comes to stagnation, I was going to say that stagnation can be something that can be good in certain circumstances, but I feel that ultimately stagnation leads to things not being able to change and things remaining the same. Um, I want to touch up on the definitions with you guys. Well, I feel that change would be that, or change is transformation, or it is something that is not remaining the same. If we think about it, change is everything that has to do with, excuse me, change has everything to do with learning. When we change, we are learning, we are transitioning into a new state. And believe it or not, when we work on change, we are putting forth change within work, school, relationships, etc. You know, when it comes to change, we realize things within ourselves that we don't want to stay the same, and those are usually those bad qualities that we would want to change about ourselves. Change can be good or bad, you know. Change we but I like to be on the optimistic side of change. You know, I like to think of change as a positive thing. Um, we can't change if we remain the same. If we remain stagnated, we won't be able to see a form of transition within ourselves. We won't be able to see renewal of growth and development by doing the same things that we were once doing. Change, I realize, has everything to do with new experiences. It has everything to do with looking at new things, checking out different things, you know. And we, as human beings, we realize change, or we can also realize stagnation through bad habits. You know, when we are stagnated, it is most likely because we are keeping a bad habit. And when we realize that we want to change, it's usually because of a bad habit. You know, when it comes to change, like for me, I know that when it came to certain relationships, I knew that I had to change not only a certain part of myself, but I had to change my preference. I had to change what I wanted to go after within a person. And I also had to be that form of attraction, you know? So that also, those are different forms of acknowledgement or different forms of change, you know? And it's the more we know to change, the more we know to ascend past all of those bad things, the more we will be able to gain a bigger and better lesson out of those things had a hard time we had a hard time learning from. I realized that, excuse me, I had to let the thing go past. Change has everything to do with the original state of shifting into a new form of occurrence. You know, um, when we are changing, it comes from the original. The original could be good or the original can be bad, but everything has to do with change. Everything that you are everything that you are shifting, you are changing. Everything that you are shifting, you're transitioning into. Um, and change helps our everyday growth, you know. It helps us become better at different things within our lives, whether it be, you know, not being good at a certain thing. We might not be good at a certain thing, but if we change the way we think, or we change the way we play, or we change the way we do things, strategic and coming up with strategies, that is when we start to see a change, when we start to be consistent within that thing, and we start to see those transitions within ourselves. Um, when it comes to stagnation is something that keeps us from learning, you know, because when you're stagnated, you can't learn from anything, or you can't grasp new experiences from being in the same place, you know. So it is definitely something that keeps us from learning, but it's also something that puts us in a state of fear, anxiety, and inconsistency. You know, when we are stagnated, we're not showing any form of consistency. We're not showing any form of or ambition that we want what we want. You know, that we're not going after that specific thing. You know, like for me, it has been I've been in a process of stagnation when it comes to playing music. You know, I feel that within the little certain anxieties and fears that I have had, but knowing that I had to cast them onto the Lord, um, it made me look and say, wow, you know, this might be something that is keeping me from learning, or keeping me from new opportunities, or keeping me from new blessings that can occur. You know, when we are stagnated, it really puts us in a bind, and it really puts us in a state of a pause, in a state of pause. You know, when we are stagnated, like I said, it puts us in states of fear. You know, when we're stagnated, it might be because we fear what other people might think of us. You know, or if it's because we're anxious, we might be anxious about how things will turn out. Or if it's inconsistency, it's inconsistency because we're not putting forth the effort. We're not putting forth the effort, so we won't be able to see the change within ourselves. You know, change and stagnation is something that really needs to be worked on within this world, because I feel that stagnation is the only thing that keeps us, excuse me, stagnation is the only thing that keeps us from not being able to change. It keeps us from not being able to move forward. And it keeps us at a low vibrational state. Stagnation keeps us at a low vibrational state, and it keeps us in the same state of mind. Who wants to be in the same state of mind? Everybody wants to be able to change and learn different things, you know? So it's imperative to change, but to also grasp the optimistic parts of change, part of parts of change, excuse me. It is important for us to look at change as something that would be able to help us rather than something that would hinder us, you know? Stagnation would be something that would hinder us because we're only remaining the same. I feel that change and stagnation needed to be touched up upon today because I feel that the collective amount of my generation, the only thing that keeps us from going after what we want is the stagnation. Some of us, we get stagnated. I would like to say that there are a lot of people that can be stagnated, not necessarily, but can be stagnated off of their own fears, anxieties, and inconsistencies of themselves. Just like myself, you know what I mean? I realize that I have my own sort of fears, anxieties, and worries that I have to cast onto the Lord. And there are some inconsistencies that I need to be able to strategically work out so that I can see consistency within my life. And the only way to see consistency is to change, you know, is to change. Um, Change and stagnation is one of the many things, excuse me, change and stagnation is one of the many things that we really need to work on throughout everyday life because we don't want to all remain in the original form of everything. We don't want to remain in a state of originality when it comes to those things. We would all want to, in that aspect, change. And yeah, it's very important for us to change. I hope that this could have been a blessing to you guys in any way, shape, or form possible. Because hopefully these videos are giving you a form of change or a form of transition into something better and giving you a different outlook on change, or on the things that you need to work on within your life, whether it be relationships, whether it be music, whether it be jobs. There's certain things that we want to work on that we want to see becoming better. So I hope that this was a blessing to you guys. If it was, leave a thumbs up in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, and love you guys. And I hope to see you all on the next one.